We are back once again. Yeah, unfortunately, this particular laptop does not have the processor. Like, if there's a little internet hiccup, like I have at home every once in a while, even with the hardwired, the processor on my big computer can handle it. But the processor on this guy, if there's just a little bit of an internet hiccup for half a second to reload, the processor on this poor laptop just goes fucking crazy. It doesn't know what to do. It's scared. It's scared, you guys. Let's see what we've got up here, where we go with that. But we are back with one watching on DLive. Alright, we gotta finish this out. Encoding overloaded. Alright. Consider Putin's New Year's Eve 1999 speech before becoming acting president that set his agenda. W's abrogation of the anti-ballistic missile treaty, Putin's offer to assist the U.S. after September 11th, which was rejected, Putin's warning about the consequences of invading Iraq in 2003, his 2007 warning delivered at the Munich Security Conference, and about the dangers of a unipolar world, his reaction to the 2008 NATO summit in Bucharest, and Bush's offer to extend alliance membership to Georgia and Ukraine, and then Russian seizure of South Ossetia several months later, effectively making Georgia ineligible for membership. Putin's warning to the Obama admin about leading from behind and intervening in Libya in 2011 and causing a civil war there, and the Trump administration's withdrawal from the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces INF Treaty in 2019, among other of his irritants. All right. We are back up, correct? Yeah, we're back up. I'm not getting my chat again. That's lame. It is connected across all platforms. Let me reload that quick, so I can see what you guys are saying. I already missed the command center, you guys. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, let's grab this one here. So, one of the things that we had going on this week is that there was an Apple walkout on Christmas Eve. And we've actually got the tweets out of here. Now, I don't believe this is as grassroots as people think that it is, of course. Apple Together, which is an Apple laborers. Can you restart that article? I could. It was an op-ed, but... Apple Together tweets out, though, on December 23rd, calling all Apple workers and patrons. Tomorrow, December 24th, 2021, Apple workers are staging a walkout/call-out to demand better working conditions. Strike funds are available to participants, which is probably back pay for people who walked off. Don't cross the picket line, #Apple walkout. And they went back on 10:20 a.m. on the 24th. That says, we the Apple workers need more from our employer. This is what we request with the Apple walkout. So let's actually read the propaganda that they're putting out with this. Don't cross the picket line. We are Apple. We are the board. Lower your defenses and surrender your ship. Your technological and biological diversiveness will be added to our own and made to serve us. We are Apple. We deserve a respectful workplace. We deserve paid sick time. We deserve protection on the front lines. We deserve proper mental health care. Demand that Apple upholds its image with your wallet. Don't shop in stores. Don't shop online. #Apple walkout. Going on, tweeting yesterday morning, we the Apple workers need more from our employer. This is what we request from the Apple walkout. We demand hazard pay. We're demanding living wage adjustment wages. We demand healthcare premium coverage. We demand more accessible paid leave. We demand full benefits for part-time workers. We demand protections from abusive customers. For the COVID-19 pandemic, N95 masks for all, sanitizer stations, appointments only, no loitering. So some of this is, I mean, it's actually not that bad, but some of this is, I mean, you're a retail store. Of course people are going to go and loiter. They want to go buy stuff. They want to go look at stuff. They want to go add stuff to their wish list. Hazard pay? What? You are freely engaging in commerce. If you don't like the fact that you're engaging in commerce, don't fucking work there. Living wage adjustment raises. Okay. That we can have a discussion about. That's not something that's completely unjust to talk about. I had to talk about that with my boss, actually. Because inflation went up 6.5% and my wage hasn't gone up in 2 years. Okay, that's worth a conversation. Let's have that conversation. We demand healthcare premium coverage. Why? Now, I do understand that the ACA has raised the cost of premiums through the roof. I still remember $50 a month. Now, mind you, I was making considerably less than that, but $50 a month for health insurance through my old job. I remember that. But I don't think it's your employer's responsibility to come back and cover that either. It's their responsibility by the ACA to provide you with an option to healthcare. Either you go through them or you go through the exchanges. And if you don't like what they're giving you, go through the exchanges. Your Messiah, Barack Obama, put them there for a reason. Let's see, what else do we have? We demand more accessible paid leave. That's between you and your employer. We demand full benefits for part-time workers. Once again. Actually, I'm a little surprised Apple doesn't do that already, because they're a massive company, and that's how you lure the unsuspecting people in, is you give them full benefits. We demand protections from abusive customers. That is, I mean, do you wait? Aren't all cops bastards? Do you want a police officer in your store at all times? Because that's what it sounds like. I mean, you could talk with Apple about alleviating concealed carry in your stores, but I don't think they'll vote for that. For the pandemic, N95 masks for all. Well, wear your mask then. Sanitizer stations. I'm pretty sure they should have those in there already. Appointments only. You have to have an appointment to do anything in the Apple Store, and no loitering. I used to be an Apple person. I understand how they operate, how they work. But this is a lot of shit. And I like some of these people are pushing back. Protections from abusive customer. Let me know how that's supposed to work. I guarantee half the people in this thread have gone off on someone in a retail store or call center rep at least once in their life. Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff that for retail, this doesn't work. For a walk-in retail location that people would generally go to under most circumstances as an impulse buy, not something they planned for forever, like buying a car or something. You want people to loiter, because then they look at look at the fancy little rounded edges and the bright colors and the bullshit little screen, and hey, look, you can unlock it with your face. And then they come in and say, shut up and take my money. I've got an article with Insider to go with that. Apple employees plan to walk off their jobs on Christmas Eve. Urge customers not to buy anything amid the last-minute shopping rush. Samsung will take your money. Samsung will take all your money. A group of Apple employees is planning to walk off their jobs on Christmas Eve and urging customers to boycott on that day, when much last-minute shopping takes place. A worker advocacy group, Apple Together, called for a walkout on Twitter. Their demands include a more respectful workplace and paid sick time. It also urged customers to demand that Apple upholds its image with your wallet. Don't shop in stores, don't shop online. According to information on its website, most Apple stores in the US are open until 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve and closed on Christmas Day. The Apple Together tweet also informed workers who walk off that they can apply for strike funds via the Coworker Solidarity Fund. Who funded that, I wonder? Soros. A little bit loud. The tech sector faces increased employee activism around the toxic work conditions and environment. Let's see. According to the fund's webpage, it's now accepting only waitlist applications for stipends up to $5,000. In June, about 80 Apple employees pushed back after the company announced its return to office policy would require them to be back in the workplace by September, The Verge reported. The company last week pushed back its return to office indefinitely due to the spread of the Omicron variant of the coronavirus. And in August, a group of Apple employees launched a website for coworkers to share their experiences of mistreatment at the tech giant. Apple didn't immediately respond to insiders' requests for comment. And one of the best things, I don't know if I can find the tweet again that I went off on this, but I know one of the guys went off and talked about, our disgusting customers who refuse to wear the mask, and we have to go and touch their phones and this and that and the next thing. And I retweeted that and I said, before you go buy your overpriced Apple status symbol, remember, this is what the people on the ground think of you when you walk into the store. I wouldn't give them my money. Fuck that. Fuck them. And I used to be an Apple guy. Apple sucks. One of the things that goes off with that is the fact that, they try to tell you what it is that you should listen to. Oh, no, we weren't just downloading this onto your phone because we think that you should listen to this, or I wanted everyone to go buy a U2 album. We did it as a gift to you. Well, sorry. U2 sucks, and so does Apple. And the other side of this, when they're coming off and they're talking about the walk-off from the job and how bad they have it in the retail stores and everywhere else, I just keep thinking about the fact that those poor Uyghurs can't walk off the job. Those poor Uyghur Muslims who are getting their balls chopped off if they don't do what it is that they're told. They can't walk off the job. Alright, let's talk about the trial of the century that nobody's talking about. From the New York Post. Not a happy holiday or 60th birthday behind bars for Ghislaine Maxwell. From Kathy Ann Boniello at the New York Post. It's probably not the 60th birthday she imagined for herself, but Ghislaine Maxwell spent the milestone Saturday in her Manhattan jail cell, anxiously awaiting a jury's verdict in her sex trafficking trial. Deliberations in the lower Manhattan trial will drag into next week as jurors fail to reach a verdict before being dismissed for the long holiday weekend. As they entered their 16th hour of work, the jury Wednesday asked for transcripts for 3 witnesses who testified in the case against the accused Epstein madam. The 12-person panel is reviewing more than 2 weeks of testimony as they consider 6 counts against the former British socialite, including sex trafficking of a minor and sex trafficking conspiracy. Maxwell is accused of grooming and trafficking several girls, some as young as 14, for financier Jeffrey Epstein, to abuse between 94 and 04. She faces a maximum of 70 years in a federal prison if convicted on all counts. Persecutors called Maxwell Epstein's right hand and sophisticated predator during the trial. Her attorneys argued throughout the proceedings that Maxwell was simply the wrong target for persecutors, eager to hold someone accountable after Epstein didn't kill himself while awaiting trial on related sex abuse charges. Before Maxwell's trial headed deliberations, the defense attorneys insisted their controversial client be referred to as Miss Maxwell rather than the defendant when Judge Allison Nelson instructed the jury on the legal nuances of the case. Dude, look at that 90s hair, too. Look at that. This is so 1990, it's not even funny. It's like 95 or something, I'm guessing. The accused Madam's siblings, who have supported her throughout the legal drama in Manhattan federal court, were caught on video, which aired on British networks, breaking down into tears as they awaited word of their sister's fate. Maxwell did not testify in her own defense. Your Honor, the government has not proven its case beyond a reasonable doubt, and so there is no need for me to testify, Maxwell told the jurist. The high-profile trial comes as a surge of pinko-pox cases, fueled by the Omicron variant, has swept through the Empire State, prompting Nathan to urge the jury to take precautions and stay healthy as they went into their long weekends. And they are officially back at this point. From CNN. Jurors in Ghislaine Maxwell's sex trafficking trial returned to resume deliberations. From Lauren Del Valle and Eric Levinson. After taking a long weekend for the Christmas holiday, jurors in the Ghislaine Maxwell's federal sex trafficking trial are set to resume deliberations Monday morning in New York. Maxwell, the former girlfriend and longtime associate of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, has pleaded not guilty to 6 federal counts: sex trafficking of a minor, enticing a minor to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, transporting a minor with the intent to engage in criminal sex activity, and 3 related counts of conspiracy. If convicted in all 6 counts, Maxwell faces up to 70 years in prison. Jurors deliberated for about an hour on Monday, and then all of Tuesday and Wednesday. At the end of Wednesday's deliberations, the judge asked if they would consider returning Thursday, but they declined. During deliberations, the jury has asked the court a series of questions related to testimony from the women whose claims form the core of the case against Maxwell. First, jurors asked the judge for the transcripts of testimony from Annie Farmer, Carolyn, and Jane, 3 of the 4 women who testified that they were sexually abused by Epstein and that Maxwell facilitated and sometimes participated in the abuse. Jurors also asked for the FBI notes from an 2007 interview with Carolyn that the defense has said is inconsistent with her testimony in court. The FBI notes are not in evidence, but some excerpts were read into the record during her cross. Further, the jury asked whether it can consider Farmer's testimony for 2 of the conspiracy counts. Jurors may do so, Judge Allison Nathan said. So, and Brian Nichols actually tweeted out, by the way, talking about this as well, because he pointed out the fact that none of the major networks are really carrying this. And, I mean, they are, but it's like page 6 news. And there is a part of that I can understand, and understand where it goes by, too. Because this was not a televised trial. This was not something that you could easily go back and watch video of, watch back, and people can comment and talk about over this. We know that the mainstream media is going to lie to us about what happened here. Only a few people got to call in on this, onto a phone line that's always blocked. So we have to take these assholes' words for it, and I mean, these assholes are in the tank for these people. Because a lot of them are going to lose a lot out of this too, if something goes bad. There's no way this is going to be presented well to the general public, to the common man. There's no way that was going to be. Now, if they had run this, if they had done this, and this was televised, this probably would get a lot more coverage because people would be sitting down there watching it like that. Fuck, you'd have people taking off work for this. To go and watch this. You'd have people sitting in there watching the testimony. I'm sorry, boss, I'm sorry. I can't come in. No, I'm watching the Maxwell trial. But that one little thing about federal trials not being televised, that was the greatest gift to the mainstream media on this one. Alright. I got one more here of stupid people in the news, and then I've got one white pill for us, and then we'll do Ferengi Rules of Acquisition and head out of here for the day. I'm a little bit glad that they didn't give us a lot of news over the Christmas weekend, that people actually calmed down and didn't do shit. And I mean, the longest part of this program was the 2 times that Mr. Processor over here on my laptop overloaded and said, no, we're disconnecting everything. California education official lives in Texas despite state ban on travel to the Lone Star State. From Ash Shao over the Daily Wire. One would usually expect state officials to live in the state for which they work, but as California is learning, that's not always the case. Two high-ranking California Department of Education officials have resigned after media outlets discovered that they did not actually live in California. The first official to resign lived in Philly, but the second resided from Texas. Out of Dallas, actually, an ironic move given California's ban on state travel to the Lone Star State. Politico reported on the second resignation. A second high-ranking California Department of Education official has resigned because she lives out of state. Pamela Caraquia served as a CDE Equity Project Manager, but resides in Texas based on public records and her LinkedIn profile. Caraquia's LinkedIn profile shows she pursued her doctorate in education at Texas A&M from 2019 to 2021. Prior to joining CDE, she taught for more than 4 years at Ridgeland College in Dallas. Records show that Caraquia lives in the Dallas area, where she and her husband purchased a home in 2019. She appears to have worked in Texas since 2016, according to LinkedIn, but originally hails from California, graduating from Walnut High School in East Los Angeles County, and earning her bachelor's and master's from Cal State Fullerton. Yeah, just another example of people who want to go on and impose the rules and the taxes and everything else on the people of California, but don't actually want to live under those rules, taxes, and themselves for themselves. It is funny. Well, and usually, yeah, if you're going to be on a board of education or a state-run job, you should live in state. I know that, like, city of Milwaukee, because I have a friend that works in the city of Milwaukee. I'm not going to tell you what department he works in, but I know he works in the city of Milwaukee for a government agency in Milwaukee. My friend was not living in Milwaukee at the time, and when he actually moved up to Milwaukee, that was the first thing I asked him, like, why? Why the hell would you want to live there? Oh, well, it's actually the law. I have to live here. In order to work where I work, I have to live here. Well, that sucks to be you. Thanks, Job for 9 for the sticker. I gotta live up here. That's what I have to do. And I hate that. I really hate that for him. Because I know where he'd rather live. I know full well where he'd rather live. And he's got a nice little house. But that's what we see off of that. So, and it's the same thing, like Kenosha Unified School District. You have to live in Kenosha County. You don't have to live in the city of Kenosha, but you have to live in Kenosha County for Unified School District. That's for most state agencies. I know that they did take some off because of overcrowding. Like they relaxed some requirements, but for the most part, for state agencies, you have to live in the state. And for county, you have to live in the county. And I think for city, you have to actually live in the city too. So, well, that's what we see off of that. All right. And the last one from the Blaze. A little bit of a white pill for you before we end out of here, before we get out of here for the day. Kentucky man's awesome Christmas display leads to over 1,000 toys donated for tornado victims. From Chris Pandolfo. A man from Villa Hills, Kentucky is delighting his neighbors with an awesome Christmas display at home and using the attention to collect donations for tornado victims in western Kentucky. Ralph Mueller's front yard is decorated with a small army of inflatable Christmas characters and stellar lights displayed. It's a sight you absolutely cannot miss. Some of those decorations are several feet tall, and one Frosty the Snowman stands at a towering 18 feet. In an interview with WKRC-TV, Mueller said that he only started decorating for Christmas 2 years ago. At the urging of his granddaughter last year, he added 49 inflatable Christmas characters to his collection. This year, he has 100 decorations, everyone from Frosty to Mickey Mouse to Santa Claus, and of course, even the Grinch is represented. Whether you're young or old, it just puts a smile on everybody's face, said Mueller. I've got people driving by and thanking me for bringing back Christmas, he added, observing that outdoor Christmas decorations have become less popular in recent years. But the neighbors aren't just stopping by to admire the show. On December 15th, Mueller told his Facebook neighborhood group that he would be putting collection barrels out in front of his yard. He said that anyone who wanted to visit to see the inflatables could drop off toys and food, which were donated to tornado victims in Mayfield on December 23rd. The community was happy to spread some Christmas cheer and give good gifts to those in need. They lost everything, it's just so sad, said Nancy Trenkamp, who dropped off toys in one of Mueller's collection bins. We've probably got over 1,000 toys, Mueller told WKRC on Tuesday. He explained that he was inspired to help the tornado relief effort after his son was deployed to Western Kentucky with the National Guard last week. Just seeing him down there and helping out, I figured I could do something to help out too, he said. Mueller and his family traveled to Western Kentucky on Thursday to deliver the food and toys, becoming a real-life Santa Claus for communities that had their Christmas plans dashed. A couple weeks before Christmas, all the kids are saying, hey, can't wait for Christmas, can't wait for Christmas, and now they're saying, I'm not going to get Christmas, said Mueller. He added, if donations keep flowing, he'll make a second trip. And see, right there, that makes you feel good about yourself, that people are going out there, around the government too on top of it, under private charity, to go and help out. You love to see it. I love to see it. I think it's awesome. I think it's epic. I think more people need to do that. I really do, and I'm glad to see it. I really am. That genuinely warms my heart, and it makes me want to get up and do something too. So, we'll see what happens with that. We're going to be done for the day, but before we do, the last thing that we always do on a Monday is read one of the Ferengi rules of acquisition. Because we're all filthy capitalists around here. At least I am. I'm the ultra-capitalist, according to my 8 Values report. So, where were we at? I know we did war is good for business. Peace is good for business. Last one. The last one was profit is its own reward. That's where we left off on the 41st rule of acquisition. So that brings us up to the 43rd rule of acquisition. Brief review for those of you new to the program or the franchise. The Ferengi is an ultra-capitalistic group of aliens in the Star Trek franchise who are known for incorporating capitalism into their religion, which means that they're my kind of people. So they have listed an extensive list of commandments that all Ferengi have to memorize about doing business, especially with alien races. And if they follow the rules of acquisition, they can go to the Golden Treasury at the end of their lives. We will look at the 43rd rule of acquisition today. Feed your greed, but not enough to choke it. This is from The Buried Age, a Next Generation novel. So this one revolves around Picard. The 43rd rule of acquisition. I mean, that's something, I mean, that's for everything here, but feed your greed, but not enough to choke it. There are excesses out there. Now it's fun to go out there, and I'm sure that, you know, some of the people in big businesses love to go and blow a few $1 billion on a jet or a yacht or something else like that, or run a bunch of money or do whatever they can to come back out and get more money so they can go blow it on another hard asset that will appreciate as our money inflates and inflates and inflates out of control. But you can only go so far. And you do have to watch what you're doing. Yes, it's good to acquire. And that's one of the things that I've notated about myself too, and one of the things that I like to do, I prefer to do in our situation. I've said, I want to get really famous and get really rich so I can donate more money to more good causes, the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I want to have a bunch of money, but I also want to give a bunch of money away. Alright, just getting the live chat back up here. We got knocked off again. Alright, we're back. We're back out of here, but we are going to be closing out of this for the day. So that's what it's going to be for the day here. Let's change out the track and let's head out of here. Because, well, I got to figure out what's going on with this processor and why it's peaking out so bad again. That's what I got to do, is figure out what's overloading us right now. But let's head out of here for the day. Give that some time to think over here. Think about the outro music. It's trying. But I guess while we're thinking about it here, let's start going through the wares and getting out of here. So thanks everybody who came by and chatted with us in the live chat today, including through all the stumbles and all the hard work of this processor trying to come back and doing stuff it hasn't been asked to do in quite a while here. There will be no Red and Ed show tonight, and there's actually going to be some announcements coming, I think, next week about what's happening with that as well. So we will have to work on that, and we'll just see. But yeah, no Monday night show tonight here. I don't have anything prepped for it. I don't have anything ready to go with it or anything else like that. So with that, we're going to head out of here for the night. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, probably back at the regular time for more contemporary, and we will see what's happening with that and what's happening around the world. Hopefully it'll be another slow week throughout the rest of the week, and we can get, an hour and a half instead of 2.5 hours or whatever the hell we do on a Monday anyway. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the headlines look like throughout the day, and we will be back here tomorrow with more contemporary. And until then, I am Jay Edgar, and this is Contemporary. Take care.